Welcome back, everyone, to episode 2 of our playthrough on Hearts of Iron 4 using the Every State Independent mod as we go for Ohio dominance over the world. If you didn't see episode 1, there's a link in the description that will take you back to the beginning. I'm just taking a look at my one and only general that I have right now. That is Marcus Jones, who started out with all ones at level 1, but he's now got 4 in attack and 4 in defense. Still not great in planning or logistics, but we do have some perks now. We're going to choose Infantry Expert for one of those. I don't think we really have anything else we can do with him right now. But we're going to start preparing for the invasion of Indiana. Now, we were trying to do this before, and then Tennessee went and declared war on us and kept us from being able to do it. So hopefully nothing will screw up our plans this time. Indiana doesn't really have any resources that we can gain from this attack. It really is just about aesthetics. I just don't like how my border looks. I know it's a really petty reason to invade a sovereign nation, but that's what we're going to do. We are not officially fascist as of yet. We are still non-aligned, but we can hold a national referendum now that more than 50% of our nation is fascist. In fact, we're at 63%, so it makes sense to do that. That's the direction we were headed anyway. So let's go ahead and hold that referendum. We're going to lose 5% stability, but we are now officially fascist Ohio. Looks like my name has changed, the Ohio Reich. Oklahoma just conquered New Mexico, so we've got the Idahoan SSR out there, so they're going to be a target down the road. The Montanan Federation, which is Democratic. So as the names change, you know that means they've probably realigned. The Soviet state of California seems appropriate. Still having trouble with Oregon right now. I just unlocked my extra research slot, so what I want to do now is I want to start getting close air support. So we're going to get our first close air support 1. We've got trucks coming up here soon, as well as computing machine. National focus now. Let's continue to work on our armament effort so we can get some more military factories going, build up our army. We've got plenty of manpower. The only thing holding me back from being able to build up my military is the lack of military factories to be able to do it. I do have my first tiny armored division being built. Right now it's just 2 medium tank battalions and some infantry. Eventually I want to get the infantry out of there, as well as support artillery. That'll just really be about moving and taking territory. It won't really be meant to attack people. And now that I've researched truck, now I have the ability to get field hospital, logistics company, and signal company. So I want to get field hospital 1 to help with the casualties and the reinforcements. Wars continue to be fought and won. So every probably day or two, I see another nation fall. So we're very slowly getting to fewer and fewer nations on the map. Looking a little closer to home, West Virginia, actually Maryland has conquered West Virginia. They are communist, so that's a threat we're going to have to deal with. That'll probably be our next target, I would think. Beyond that, I'm just looking to see what's going on. There's not a lot happening here. Texas and Louisiana are at war. South Carolina and Georgia are still fighting with no clear winner. Of course, New England is all one republic, and they are fighting against New York. So that's very soon going to consolidate, and that's going to become a major threat on my border right there. Quebec has a lot of territory up here. Republic of Southern Ontario. So it's happening. It's happening slowly, but it is indeed happening. Justification for our war on Indiana is complete. Let's make it happen. We have a huge border on Indiana, so we can come at him from multiple sides. That's going to make it difficult for him to be able to deal with us effectively. There have been a ton of countries joining the 2 Asian factions. There's the Asian League and the Asian Combine. So once this war's over, we'll have to take a look and see exactly who all is in those 2 factions. I don't know why we're not just moving direct, but I guess we are. he doesn't have nearly the manpower to be able to cover the border that he has with us. Okay, where are we at on technology? We're in 1938. Let's do construction 1. This is not going to be a long war. It's not going to be anything like what we faced against Tennessee, I don't think. The numbers are similar. Of course, we don't really know for sure what his numbers are. He only has 2 factories, though. Indiana's a really weak power compared to what I had in Tennessee to face. Look at all that's a new faction. We're going to have to look at the faction maps as soon as we're done with this war. I think as soon as we take Indianapolis, this one will be over pretty quick. Alright, we took Indianapolis and that was it. Grabbed some infantry equipment, some other things. Really not much worth taking. But the map looks a little better now. Now, I am concerned about this. They have a non-aggression pact with Virginia. What we've got to do is we've got to deal with some of these countries that have aligned before they join alliances. That's my concern. Once they start getting into factions, it becomes much more difficult to deal with. There aren't any factions right now in North America. But you can see here the Asian League, the Asian Combine, and the nations that are joining those kind of all over the place. We've also, it's pretty much those 2 factions right now. And then we've got the Bryansk Congress. I thought there was one more that I saw, but I don't see any nations. The Pradeshi Union. Nothing that's a real threat right now. So what I'd really like to get my hands on is that Texas oil. Look at all that oil, 422. Louisiana, to a lesser degree, they've got some oil as well. Especially once I have tanks, gonna need that oil. But I'm also looking at all the steel in Wisconsin and Minnesota. And they border me, so that may be the next step. Because those are things that I could trade on the market. And that'll help with my factory availability. So I think that's probably where we're going to go next. All right, so we're going to go through Illinois first. I can't get my units up to the Upper Peninsula of Michigan to be able to invade Wisconsin directly, so I need to go through Illinois. So we're loading up there. We're up to 11 divisions now that are fully stocked, including our first armored division. I also want to point out that countries have been joining the Asian League like crazy. Look at all this Asian Combine, I'm sorry, and the Asian League. So those 2 factions are really starting to take sides in Europe and Asia. We don't see much of it here in the Americas yet. Speaking of the Americas, still not a lot of change in the fight between California and Oregon. Georgia and South Carolina, still very little happening. Texas is starting to win against Louisiana. That will be a lot of oil that I want to take as soon as I can. Our justification on Illinois is complete. So far, we're lucky because none of these states have anybody guaranteeing them. Because that's when we're going to come into issues, is when we got to start taking on multiple states at once. And somebody jumps in to help them out. I think this is going to be another pretty quick one. They don't have a lot of resources, so I don't imagine they have a lot in terms of factories and things of that nature. We'll go ahead and take a look and see what we might be facing. Yeah, see, they've got 2 factories. These countries that don't have a lot of natural resources, they don't really get a lot of factories either. So it's really almost unfair that my country with 45 active factories going up against one with 2. He just doesn't have the ability to produce any kind of an army. So it's going to go pretty quickly, I think. In fact, we don't even have anybody really doing anything here in the center. Let me get this armored division going. Cut these guys in 2 as quickly as I can. If we can cut off Chicago, that'll make things easy. I'm actually going to move them all the way across, just cut the whole state in 2. I think as soon as we take Chicago, that should do the trick on this one. And we've got 3 divisions, 2 infantry, 1 armored division attacking Chicago. So I think that it's going to fall here pretty quickly. Just as quick as the Game time can inch forward ever so slowly. All right, Chicago has fallen, and with it, Illinois has capitulated. Right now, just not seeing a lot in my way. Imperial Florida down there. Obviously, at some point, we're going to have to deal with the communists down here in West Virginia and Maryland. It looks like Louisiana's hanging on against Texas right now. So let's kind of get an overview of what's going on here. We've got lots of fighting going on in England, but no clear winners emerging there. The Soviet Munster is the state over there in Ireland now. We've also got a socialist state of Brittany here. But nothing really emerging so far in Europe. We do have Switzerland. What do we got here? This is a pretty substantial German state down here in Bavaria. And non-aligned at the moment. Starting to see some things happen in Asia here and there, but man, I expected we'd see a little more consolidation by now than we've seen so far. So we're having some supply issues now. Thinking some of that will be resolved once Illinois is better dealt with, but there's definitely some supply issues happening. You can see our trains moving around, which is kind of cool to watch happen. But we're going to need to make sure that the supply issues are dealt with before we can go into Wisconsin. So we just completed aviation effort, which adds 2 air bases and also allows us to start focusing on some future tech that we want to deal with. But I don't know if I'm going to go any further with that right now. I want to start working on doctrine for the Army. I've also been working on building these up. I'm going to get them to 40 width divisions eventually. Since we're attacking on such narrow fronts, I'm just going to add more men to the divisions rather than adding more divisions at this point. And we've got the infantry equipment to do it. I just need to wait for the Army experience to be able to get it done. Right now we're 28 width. I'm going to add some more infantry. I do want to add hospitals once we're able to get those. We're not quite done with that research yet. We've got 30 days on that. Working on construction 1, concentrated industry 3, close air support will be done in 19 days as well. Okay, it's Wisconsin's turn to feel the wrath of the Ohio Reich. We'll see how this one goes. This is a pretty narrow front that we're attacking over. But I think we've got the manpower to be able to handle it. Milwaukee's right there. If you've ever been to that area, Chicago and Milwaukee, not that far away at all. And that's their capital. So I don't know how much more we'll need to do once we take Milwaukee. Once again, lots of things happening. That's kind of how it goes. Constantly getting notifications because of all the wars and all the countries that are surrendering as the world consolidates further and further. I am curious to see what the numbers look like. See, I have this game paused and we're still getting notifications. Yeah, he's got 11 to 14 factories, so that'll be a little nicer than what we've been getting. I've got 125,000 manpower. We're estimating him anywhere between 37 and 100. We really have no idea what he's got. So Milwaukee has fallen, and with it, Wisconsin is almost out already. You can see how much of the victory points are just Milwaukee alone. I also got a notification East Anglia surrendered, which means they've been gobbled up by somebody. It looks like... Actually, it looks like East Anglia... Well, who's left here? The Democratic People's Republic of what? I can't see the name, unfortunately. Of the East Midlands. Okay. So East Midlands are there. West Midlands are here. They're starting to gobble up territory. Still haven't seen Scotland consolidate. We're starting to see, looks like the Soviet state of Schleswig-Holstein is gobbling up some territory. We see the battle for Austria begins. Upper Austria and Lower Austria are fighting it out. I also got a notification that North Carolina declared war on South Carolina. So now we've got poor South Carolina caught in the middle of 2 states that are fighting them. Just completed research for close air support, so we're going to go ahead and start queuing those up. I think we'll just have to drop back on the tank supply a little bit. All right, well, I wasn't expecting it to happen that fast, but we got 5,000 infantry equipment in the process, which is really nice. That's a big help. Of course, we don't get the full batch of Wisconsin's steel production when we take over. We only get like a percentage of it, but every little bit helps. There we go. We've basically recreated the Northwest territories with the addition of Kentucky, Tennessee, and Pennsylvania. Probably going to have to go this way next just to kind of even things out, I think. But we do want the steel production of Minnesota. I think that's probably going to have to come first. All right, looks like we're going to need some more aluminum to continue our production moving forward. We're trading away some aluminum or else we wouldn't need it. So we've completed Field Hospital now. That's going to be a nice addition to what we have. We can upgrade our trains. I don't think that's really all that necessary at the moment. I'm just thinking about what's next. It's almost 1939. We'll go production efficiency cap over here. Make the most of what we have. Now let's go ahead into our divisions and add field hospitals. We don't have enough Army experience at the moment. It'll take a little while before we do. Well, it looks like, I was just about to say, it looks like South Carolina is about to be done. Georgia won that war. North Carolina was doing most of the conquest there, but it didn't work out that way. So we're getting ready to, we're working on declaring on the Democratic People's Republic of Maryland. It's going to take 85 days for that one. New England's going to take New York, and that's going to leave kind of two powers in the north. And then Mississippi, Georgia, Florida, North Carolina, and Virginia will be all that's left east of the Mississippi. Canada's working on consolidating. You can see we've got just a few territories in Canada. California might finally win that long, protracted war against Washington, and Texas may finally defeat Louisiana. They're going to have to take New Orleans to do it. Looks like Lower Austria is about to complete the conquest of Upper Austria. We can see here North Transylvania Republic is forming. We've got Muntinia there. So things are starting to form. The Bosnian Soviet Republic right there. We've got a couple of large nations forming in Italy. France is still a mess, although Midi-Pyrenees is starting to carve out a nice chunk there. Still no clear leaders in the British Isles. Scandinavia, we've got some big things happening. The Republic of Norland. Interesting. South Korea has capitulated to nationalist North Korea. Let's take a look and see what's going on over there. So Korea has been united. We'll see if they form the Republic of Korea or something like that, or if they just stay as nationalist North Korea. Quite possible we'll see them create that nation now that they've conquered all of it. We're about to have our justification for war. There it is on West Virginia and Maryland. We're going to make a beeline for Washington because I think that's what we're going to need to be able to win this one. So I'm just going to kind of send everybody in that direction. I think this will happen pretty fast. Interesting that we're not actually attacking on all fronts as we could. I don't really want to march through the mountains of West Virginia if I can avoid it. There we go. That's all it took. We just had to take Washington. I kind of figured that would be the case. That would be a pretty easy one to deal with. We've got some freed up military factories. So we've got 14 military factories and 2 dockyards now. Another armored division available to us. So we're starting to build things up. I have 167,000 in the field. The Virginia Reich, so that's a fellow fascist nation. That's one that if we get the chance, we'll need to create a faction, but it's saying they have strategic reasons not to ally with me, and it's probably that they want the same territory that I have. So I don't know when we'll be able to create factions, but Texas, man, they just can't seem to finish off Louisiana. Same with California and Oregon. Oh, so this is interesting. The minute I declared that war, they joined the Asian Combine, which is one of the largest factions there are. The thing is, I'm guessing that most of these nations are not going to be able to get at me, because I doubt they have navies to transport their troops. So I'm not too worried about the fact that we've got this massive faction coming after us. Still, we'll prepare just in case. It would have to be a sea landing over here, so I guess we'll kind of just guard the coast. So we have an invitation to join the Asian League, which is the big faction. This would basically start to create a world war. I'll go ahead and join it. So let's take a look and see what we're facing now. We're part of the Asian League. The first one's in North America. And that basically puts the Asian League at war with the Asian Combine. I don't know if they already were. But now you can see how this is all going to shape up. It's going to be pretty interesting. But I think we'll go ahead and wrap it up right there. I told you in the first episode, which was almost an hour long, I know, that these episodes would probably be short just because of the amount of time involved in recording one of these, because it sims so slowly. And I think that's a good stopping point now that we're basically involved in a world war. I don't think it impacts us all that much right off the bat, just because of the nature of being able to reach other nations at the moment. So let me know your thoughts. Use the comment section below. Please hit that like button if you would, and we'll see you again real soon. Thanks for watching.